Welcome to Unstuck. Today we are going to talk about weight loss. As you already know, just about every single weight loss strategy fails when it comes to maintaining the weight, in just about every single case. And they fail for one of three reasons, or a combination of these three reasons: inconvenience, discomfort, and the economics of it all. Because once you reach that target, it's impossible to maintain. But there is one exception, and we are going to dive into that today, and I'm going to show you how you're going to succeed not only reaching your target, but also maintaining it. Let's get into it.
This is my life, the road I roam. Ain't no settling down, this heart's gonna roam.
If this is your first time visiting Unstuck, here I take a down-to-earth, non-nonsense approach to self-actualization, self-improvement, the pursuit of happiness, and how to become the best version of yourself. We talk about the strategies, the techniques, what works and what doesn't work, and we talk about real-life stories. So, welcome to Unstuck. You hear a lot of advice on dieting and weight loss, so much you don't even know what's true anymore. One week you hear this, and the other week it's debunked. And it's all supported by a ton of anecdotal evidence, someone in the media having, done this or that and lost this amount of weight in this amount of time, and the same ones for friends, and everyone knows of someone who has done something or whatever. What are you going to do, right? But here's the thing. Most people on this planet, we're talking billions, don't have to do a weight loss program, right? So let's make this a little bit simpler. The problem with just about every single weight loss strategy and diet, and the reason they don't work, is because they're inconvenient, they create a lot of discomfort, and the economics are terrible. So yeah, they might get you to your target, but then what? How are you going to maintain it? When you get to your target and you start longing for the foods of the past, what you're going to do is say, okay, now I'm going to start eating normally, but you're not trained. You don't know how to. You only know how to eat excessively or eat some unsustainable diet. So you're going to fail. And that's what happens with just about every single person. Whichever strategy or diet you choose, the more it deviates from how you live your current life, or the more it deviates from how you plan to live after you reach your target, the greater the chance is that you are going to fail. It's as simple as that. So we need to approach this in a manner that has the fewest changes to your life right now. When you think about it, it's not too difficult to grasp. People become overweight for a reason. And that reason is that they ate too much of something that they really enjoyed and that they probably shouldn't have eaten that much of, right? If you pick a diet that requires you to source ingredients that are difficult to source, that you don't know how to cook, or whoever cooks for you don't know how to cook, and that is to replace whatever you binged that you really enjoyed, and you don't like the replacement, and no one else that is going to share that meal with you enjoys that replacement, and on top of it all, it's going to cost you a lot of extra money. Yeah, it might be able to get you to your target, but it's not sustainable. Right? At some point, you are going to have your cravings of those old foods. Are you going to continue eating that specific diet for the rest of your life? I don't think so. There are not a lot of reliable studies in terms of the effectiveness of particular diets and reaching a target, because they all require people to reporting it, right? But after we got scales that got connected to the internet, we do have reliable data on those people that actually manage to lose weight and how long they're able to retain that weight for. And here's the kicker. Less than half of those who gained more weight than 5% were able to keep that weight after a year. And 5% is nothing, right? I can swing 1 or 2% in a single day. So you understand, there's something to what I'm saying. And now we're going to get into the strategy of how you actually can succeed. So the strategy is not about reaching your target as fast as possible. The strategy is to put you on that diet that you are going to retain for the remainder of your life. You heard it so many times, it's all about having a balanced diet. Well, I'm going to give you a different perspective what a balanced diet is. My mother, soon to turn 85 years old, her perspective on a balanced diet and a healthy diet is as follows. You need to feed the body and you need to feed the soul. However, here's the problem. What the body craves, the soul rejects. What the soul craves, the body rejects. You need to eat something that is healthy for the body and something that is healthy for the soul. You need some health food and you need some soul food. The 3 most common natural causes of death is stroke, heart attack, and cancer. It's not new. What you put in your body can massively impact your chances of getting a stroke, a heart attack, or getting cancer. But there's another thing, right, that can impact that. And that's cortisol. It's a stress hormone. So whenever you stress about food, about your health, it kind of acts against all the health food you put in your body. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily equal, but if you could have it both ways, wouldn't that be awesome? That you didn't stress so much about what you ate and you ate what you liked and it was healthy for your body? Now, then you have a balanced diet. Now, when we're talking about the food that is healthy for your body versus the soul, there's only two variables. It's what you eat and how much you eat of it. Now, you can pig out, like eat a lot, or you can eat like a bird, eat a little. And you can eat junk food or you can eat health food. The health food and the junk food, they act against each other. Like you can pig out on junk food, like really go to the, whatever fast food chain you want and ask them to really supersize you. Now, if you pig out on junk food and you want to retain that weight, well, then you have to compensate somehow, right? You have to go to the other extreme, like eat like a bird of something that's really healthy, like salad. Now, let's say there's just some soul food you have to have all the time. Well, that's fine. You can do that. But then again, you have to eat like a bird. Now, if you just want to, stuff your pie hole the whole time, you just have to fill yourself up. You can do that. You can eat like a pig so long as it's healthy, whatever you eat, like a salad. Now, I don't mean for you to take this too seriously. I hope you understand that, right? It's not supposed to be taken literally. But there is a point to be made here. The point is that normal people, and we're talking to billions and billions of people that don't need to lose weight, they eat normal food. They eat a varied diet. And you need to have a strategy and a philosophy that allows you to do the same. Now, if you choose a diet that deviates from everybody else, you're going to struggle. What are you going to do when you go visit someone and they're making a dinner? What are you going to do on vacations? What are you going to do when you go out to a restaurant? You're going to start having a hard time, right? You got to start eating normal. And normal food contains just about every kind of food there is, right? So it's about being conscious of how much you eat of the different foods and with which frequency you eat that. That is what we're going to try to get to grips with next. There are a couple of things that you ought to do in advance. One is that you need to get your hands on a scale, a digital scale with at least 1 decimal point. It doesn't have to be one of those that are connected to the internet or an app, but it really helps if you have one of those. The other thing you have to do is to set a date for when you're committed to start. Maybe it's the beginning of next month, maybe it's after the holiday, it doesn't matter, but set a date and commit to it. What you should also do is to book an appointment with your doctor to get a checkup, on your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your blood pressure, all this stuff. Now, if there's one thing that is very important that you remember is that you have to keep a mind on the diet that you intend to keep after you reach your goal. That is the diet that we're striving to get, and we're going to get to it slowly. You have to resist the urge of trying to reach your target quickly as possible by changing too many things at once, because what you're trying to do here is learn how to eat correctly, not just to lose the weight. So this is how we go about it. In the first stage, you are going to continue eating exactly the same as what you do today. You're going to have all the same meals, you're going to have all the same foodstuffs, and the balance on what you have on your plate is going to be the same. You are only going to make one change, and that is to adjust the portion size of every single meal and snack and drink you have throughout the day. Now, while also doing this, you're going to get into the habit of reading the labels of the foodstuffs that you take in and out of the freezer or that you buy at the store, and register the calories in it and what it contains. Now, you're not going to do anything with this information yet, but you're going to start doing it, get in the habit of doing it, because you're going to learn what is healthy and what's not healthy, and we're going to apply this in later stages. But just get used to reading the labels. So this is quite easy. You don't have to change your habits, you don't have to learn how to cook anything new, and whoever you enjoy your meals with, well, they can continue eating as before if they like, right? It's not a problem. Now, in this first stage, every single morning, and I mean every single morning, regardless of how good or bad you feel about what you ate the day before, you are going to get on that scale and you're going to weigh yourself and you're going to note the number, right? Or maybe you have an app and it registers there, it doesn't matter, but you have to note this number. And at the same time, when you do this, you think back to the day before and you run your mind through all the different snacks and the meals that you had throughout the day and think about how much you ate from all of them. Now, your objective in the phase 1 is that when you get on that scale every single morning, you're going to be equal to or better than your previous personal record. Now, in the beginning, this is going to be very difficult because you're going to fluctuate a lot. I mean, my body, I can easily fluctuate a kilogram or 2 kilograms from one day to another just based on how hydrated I am or what I have in my gut. But after a while, when you start doing this, you're going to fluctuate less and less, and you're going to start having a new personal record every single day. Now, remember, as I explained at the beginning, if you make a massive and abrupt change, to what you eat or how much you eat, you're going to cause a lot of discomfort. You don't want to have a lot of discomfort. You can't have a lot of discomfort over a very long time. It's just not sustainable. So we want to do this change incrementally, get used to the changes, and you will get used to it. Now, so the next question is, how much should you cut back on your portions? Well, I would go about it the same way, regardless if I spent a lifetime putting that weight on or if I put it on since last spring. In fact, I would go about it the same way, regardless if I was massively overweight or just slightly overweight. So something to think about. Nobody just wakes up one morning overweight, right? They've had excess calorie intake for some time. And at the time where they decide to go on a weight loss program, they're probably still gaining, right? So they have to go from this trajectory to flatten out and then start reducing it. Remember, we are trying to get to that point where you have a diet that is sustainable. That is the objective, not just lose the weight. When reducing portion size, I would not go beyond a quarter of the current portion sizes. Now, maybe in time you can go further, but I think this is the maximum that you should go. Now, when you cut back on your calorie intake by as much as a quarter, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel hunger and you're going to feel cravings. Not a crazy amount, but enough. It's going to be hard. You know, if you ever quit an addiction of any kind, like smoking, you're going to have some of the same sensations. But here's the good thing. It's going to become much easier, much easier after just a week and 2 weeks. And then it's just going to continue to become easier. You're going to get used to it. The massive cravings are going to be subdued. I promise you, it's going to get easier. Now for phase 2, you're going to make one additional adjustment, and that is for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all your main meals. Now you're going to take your plate and you're going to divide it in equal thirds. Your proteins, like your meat and fish or your vegetarian substitute, and your carbohydrates, like your rice, your pasta, your potatoes, your bread, and your fruits and vegetables. You're going to help yourself with equal amounts of each. That means you have to reduce something and increase something else to make it even thirds. Should you go by volume or should you go by weight? It doesn't really matter that much, at least not now. You can optimize that more later. How long should each of these phases last? Well, that depends entirely on you. You move from one phase to the other when you're ready. That could be a week, a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe a few months even. And remember, you probably spent a long time gaining this weight. So you can allow yourself some time to get into the new groove of losing that weight. But I would say for most people, they was probably spend a week or two for each phase. Phase 3 and phase 4, you can do them in whichever order you like, or you can do them at the same time. It doesn't really matter that much. Stage 3, at this point, you have become far more familiar with what you put in your body. Having gone to the scales every single morning, having thought about what you ate the day before, and also from your habit of reading the nutritional facts on the packaging. You know, you kind of get a sense of where you got to make some additional adjustments. And also, by this time, you should have gotten your stats back from your physician, who may tell you you have to cut back on particular types of food. Maybe you have a high level of cholesterol and he tells you you have to cut back on red meat or something like that. Phase 3 is all about optimizing your meal plan. Now you're still going to eat all the same foodstuffs as you did before, but with different frequency. So for instance, if the doctor told you you have to cut back on red meat, well, you're still going to eat your favorite red meat dishes, just not as often. You have to eat your favorite white meat dishes or fish dishes or vegetarian dishes more often instead. Now what you're going to experience in phase 3 is that, number 1, you've gotten used to the calorie deficiency by now. And number 2, the changes that you're making in phase 3 is going to lead to a far more balanced diet. It's going to be more healthier. And also, more than likely, you're going to cut back on your calories even further, which is going to increase the pace of you losing weight. The 4th and final stage is all about cutting back on your sins and bad habits. Cutting back on sins and bad habits. So exactly what am I talking about here? Well, I'm talking about all those things that you put in your body excessively that neither does your body any good nor your soul any good. Meaning you eat them, you drink them, but it doesn't make you feel better in any which way or the other. Pre-packaged snacks, candy, potato chips, cookies, soda, whether it's sweetened with sugar or artificially sweetened, or excessively drinking alcohol and so forth. These are treats. These are things that you consume on special occasions. So on the 4th and final stage, you cut back on those. And when you do, you're going to see that you're going to drop your calorie counts even further and lose weight even faster. What about working out? What about exercise? Should you be doing that? Of course you should be doing that, but not as a weight loss strategy. You should do it for all the other health benefits that you get from using your body, but you should do it to lose weight. If you're going to lose any significant amount of weight through working out, you're going to have to work out several more hours every single day than you already do to lose that weight. Is that sustainable? Most of us have responsibilities to others. Family, friends, work. Yeah, they might allow us to, go on this egotistical thing for a while, but not forever. So it's not sustainable to lose weight and keep your weight down through exercise. It might be an additional bonus, but don't use exercise as a means to lose weight. Do it for all the other reasons. Now here's the reason why these 4 stages are going to work. Because when you get to your target, the only change that you need to make is to stop going from here to going to here, right? So now you can start increasing your portion sizes just a little bit each day until you flatten out. What do you do from there? When you finally reach your target, this is how you maintain it. Now, remember, your weight might increase by as much as 1 kilogram or 2 in a single day based on how hydrated you are or how much food you have in your gut. So you have to allow for that kind of fluctuation. But basically, you keep going on the scale, maybe not every single day now, maybe once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. And if your weight goes anywhere about 2-3 kilograms above your target, then something kicks in here and tells you, okay, for the next couple of days, I have to cut back on my portion sizes again. It's as easy as that. Now, as I round this up, there's a couple of things I want to say. This strategy, no strategy, can guarantee that you will never experience being overweight again. Things happen sometimes in our lives that takes us off track. It can be problems in a relationship, it can be having been sick, having had an injury, it can be change at work, maybe you've been depressed, or in my case, it was COVID. COVID occurred and I just kept piling it on until I was like 20-25 kilograms too heavy. So I practice what I preach. I do use this strategy and I can tell you it works and it's quite easy. So with that, I hope you enjoy this video and I hope that you can contribute with whatever it's on your mind, whatever question you have, whatever comment you have, whatever ideas you have, share them in the comment section. And if you're into this kind of thing, then feel free to, subscribe and like and share and all that stuff. Until next time, see you later.